Hey guys, this is Justin from the Unscripted Dad Life podcast. We're excited for you guys to listen to the podcast. Just a heads up, the first few episodes, the sound quality leaves something to be desired, but I can assure you that it does get progressively better. That being said, enjoy the show.
Hello again. Welcome everybody back to our third episode. We actually have a pretty big announcement. I know you're 3 episodes in. We've already got the first 2 recorded. You already know this if you've listened to the first 2 because we'll add it or we'll back at it. But we finally figured out our name.
Drum roll.
That's pretty big. It took all of us a whole 10 minutes of
Premature drum roll.
Yeah, telling Justin that he was terrible at his ideas. But no, it was actually Justin and John, and everybody came up with some good ones. So
Nice collaborative effort.
it was. I had nothing to do with it. It was fantastic.
That's not how a collaborative effort works.
Do one of you guys want to say the name?
No, let's all do it at once after the drum. I really insist on a drum roll though.
Let's do this drum roll.
All right, so
boom, 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 like that. All right.
3, 2, 1. Unscripted Dad Life
Ooh,
podcast. I thought we added the podcast.
Podcast.
God damn it!
That's all right.
We did that so well.
We did it.
I'm
We're
going
good.
to join another podcast. This is awful.
That was
The
fantastic.
Scripted Dad Life podcast.
Yeah. We're gonna have to.
I need order in my podcast.
Come up with a script and then all of us speak it at the same time because that unification just happened. That was a big word.
Mm-hmm.
That was like word of the day toilet paper worthy right there.
But you know what? We did it.
We did. In Sync. Oh God, no, that's a terrible band.
It
I'm
is
sorry
going to
for
be
people
May.
who like them, but no. So that's our big news for today. So we did just have our holiday come by, so we just went through Easter. I know I've got a decent story, little 3-year-old nephew
Tell us about
stuff.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So we're over at my wife's parents' house, in-laws' house, getting ready to do our egg hunt, and my boy started climbing all over me. And the 3-year-old, I think he's 3, 2.5, 3, he's somewhere in there. So he starts climbing on me too, and he's standing on my back, and I just feel him start like drum rolling on my head. And I'm like, okay, he's having fun. And he's like, what happened to your hair? I'm like, before I could even answer, it's like, what? He's like, it's broken. It's like, oh, it killed me. So then I start like subconsciously looking around, like, you know, because of course the kid tells you your hair is broken and you get a little worried. And I look around to my left, everybody's got hair. I look around to the right, everybody's got hair. And it's like I'm Moses in the Red Sea of hair, just a split right down the middle of nothing. And a little kid just walking right. Oh man, it was terrible.
Now, was he referring to the lack of hair, or was he referring to the lack of ability to grow hair? What's broken?
I mean, I think that both at this point.
Yeah, I
I mean,
think-
you see what's going on here. I mean, it's.
I was gonna try and ask that same thing. Like, what is broken according to a kid? Because like, if somebody tells me what's wrong with your, he said what's wrong with your hair.
Oh yeah.
Okay, never mind. I thought he said what's wrong with your head. It's broken. I would think that like maybe I have like a gash or something.
That's
like
way different.
you can see a little bit of my skull or something
Yeah,
like that.
we'd have to go into some inner reflection on that.
Hmm.
So our Easter was good. I had no, like, what do you say to that? I couldn't think of anything.
What
Nothing.
would you say to that?
It was just, I had to laugh.
Hold on. What would I say to? Is it my kid or somebody else's
It
kid?
would be your nephew. So
it'd be-
your 3-year-old nephew.
Oh man, it's got to happen in real time. If I have too much to think about it, yeah.
Just killed a joke.
I just I might just feel like, well, thank you for saying that out loud for everybody to hear. I appreciate.
That's the most censored I've ever heard.
I appreciate that. But that's kids, though. I mean, that they just say stuff. They say what's on their mind, and they are very humbling for sure. I've never been more humbled than I am by my kids for sure.
Yeah, I can see that. What about you, Justin? What would you do in that situation?
Oh, I got this lush hair. I don't know. I've never had that.
I mean, you definitely have the.
Why is your forehead so big? I've gotten that before.
Yeah, you have like the Conan O'Brien kind of thing going on.
I've been told that my wife was there, and she like figured, no, he doesn't look like Conan O'Brien. She can't stand that man. So
Huh.
yeah.
Well, don't be funny.
My middle son came home one day, and he said, "There's a kid in my class who doesn't know any curse words," and I was like, "Really?" He says, yeah, his parents never say them, and he doesn't know any, so he doesn't say them either. I said, well, that's actually really cool. That's awesome, dude. And then we just make brief eye contact, and he says,
So I talk.
how come I know so many curse words?
Your mother.
Your mom, boom, roasted.
I'm just kidding. I've never met you, but I'm sure you're very lovely and you never cuss.
So the different sort of humbling experience, but very much like how a kid would put something, to bring you down a notch for sure.
My daughter got me once. We were at the grocery store years ago. Gosh, she was little, she was little enough for me to be carrying around the grocery store. It was real busy there. We were standing at the checkout. Her leg was right around my waist, and she felt my phone vibrating in my pocket. And there's so much chaos and everything. I didn't hear her saying over and over, "Daddy, are you farting? Are you farting?" And I was like, finally, wait, what? But yeah, there's people everywhere all around us, and she's going on and on about it.
No, I'm coughing to cover the height.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, man. So other than that, though, our Easter was good. It was the boys' first time of actually hunting for eggs, so they loved that.
Nice.
They went around and grabbed gigantic eggs that were just there for decoration, carried them around, and then they got mad that they couldn't open them to see what was inside. So that was also pretty fun.
Oh, that's bringing home the Christmas tree and not putting anything under it.
It's good to introduce your kids to disappointment early on, though.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
Is that a normal thing for you guys to not put anything in, or did you just not expect them to not?
They're like decorative things.
Yeah, they were just decorative.
Oh,
so they didn't
like big,
like
as big as them.
It's
Okay.
half their size. So
Now, but also put yourself in their position. There's all these cute eggs that got things I love in them, and then there's these giant eggs that have to have something amazing.
Well,
like another brother or something.
Yes.
Big enough for a baby.
Yeah.
Foot tall.
There's a YouTube channel. I don't even know if I can say it. My kids used to watch it all the time, and the kid just plays with toys and he quote unquote reviews them. And now he has his own toy line.
Oh yeah.
And one of them is a giant egg. So I can see why they would expect. Aside from kid logic, I can absolutely see why they would expect something to be inside of a giant egg.
Yeah, that kid makes like millions, and he's what, 12?
I looked it up. Yeah, I think it's like
it's
$30,000 a day or something like that.
That kid,
and that was a few years ago.
Yeah,
It's who I'm thinking of. I remember every time we go to Walmart and his stuff would be on the shelves, my daughter would always go, "I hate that boy." And I had no idea why.
Really? So not his demographic.
Yeah, apparently
awesome.
not.
That's interesting.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to introduce hatred to your children.
Well, no, I mean you don't want a 10-year-old showing you up on how to make money. Like that just
Oh my God. My wife was like, "You need to sit down and do this." She was like, "You and Liam, you have the personality. He's got the personality. I need you to just handle this." And I'm like,
You said his name again.
Fuck.
It's okay.
Okay. My wife
It's gonna slip. It's gonna
said,
happen.
she said, "Hey, you and our oldest, you've got the personality to do this. You got to handle this. Get us rich." I was like, "Oh, okay. I'll just get us rich just like that. Okay, no problem. I'll do that."
No, that in itself is a whole topic for me. My daughter's really good at video game. I mean, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Yeah, she doesn't like to share her loot. Yeah.
she's
we
a
know
gun thief and doesn't share
Yeah.
shit.
But she has saved me more than a handful of times.
Well, yeah, she had your guns.
Well, so I'm kind of like, man, you should compete. That'd be great. And then her uncle, my brother-in-law, told me all about a young girl that beat a whole bunch of pro gamers and got swatted, like stuff like this.
Yeah,
So the
exactly.
thing for kids
Yeah.
bugs me. I don't know what to do.
I hard agree with that. And that was one of the things that always kept me from doing stuff like that. Because like as much positivity as you'd get, there would be just as much negativity. And I'm not about to introduce, mental trauma to my kids if I can help it,
Right.
at 11 years old.
Yeah.
You know,
That's crazy. So no thanks.
Agreed.
and that'll be our challenge every month. We'll throw it out to our listeners here. How many times are we going to slip up and say our kid's name?
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
So, our goal is 0, but let's start taking bets. Let's see what happens, and
I'll bring a bottle of tequila next time.
we'll start setting stretch goals. Man, that's tough. Start setting stretch goals.
Start shedding.
Yeah,
That's like she sells seashells.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Anyway, we'll do some stretch goals, and when we get enough listeners and viewers, we'll maybe do some giveaways or something for whoever got the number right first of how many times.
Yeah, I
Let's-
like that.
You know what? Let's do that. Let's help us get our word out. We'll do that. We'll figure out what to give you guys. Maybe it'll be some of my beautiful hair that's invisible. So if it looks like we sent you nothing,
It's broken, man.
the mail's broken. It's actually there.
Let's be real though. If it's mainly like parents listen to this, like they need Pampers.
Yeah.
That's what's
Pampers, I'll give gift card, like some. We'll figure out something. We'll give back to you guys for helping us out. But other than that, like, what did you guys do for your Easter holiday? I know for me it was special because it was the kids' first time they got to do something. But, you know, my kids are young. Yours is older. Yours is everywhere. Mm-hmm. What would you guys do? Or did you guys do?
Yeah, we went camping at a state park a couple hours away. We do that every weekend. Or not every weekend, every Easter. That's sort of our tradition. We go camping and we stayed out there 4 days. And at first I was not looking forward to it because this is the first time that we're taking our daughter, who turns a year next month. So I was not, she's not walking or anything right now. So like, there's nothing that we could do to tire her out. It's just, we're lugging her around everywhere. But it turned out to be a fantastic time. My sister and her family came, so it was my niece was there, and her and my kids get along just splendidly. And so we did a lot of hikes, a lot of fishing, a lot of s'mores, a lot of sitting around the campfire and asking each other, you know, would you rather questions, or playing ABC games where, you know, we have to go A through Z and name an animal for every letter. So A, aardvark, B, bobcat, you know, so on and so on.
We do that with candy.
Candy was really fucking hard because my middle child he said, no. It was my oldest. He said, let's do candy next. And we could barely get to like H before like, this sucks. We need to move on to a different subject.
Every time we play, we have to like just make allowances for things. If there's no like branding thing, then we just start saying sugar cane. Like,
right. Yeah.
You need the image for Moose book that our kids have. Every letter is moose because the moose is trying to get into the book because he thinks it's his turn. So no matter what letter it is, it's the moose is getting in. It's my turn. So no matter what letter, it's moose. So you can't be wrong.
So if you're trying to teach your kids the alphabet,
moose. That's the alphabet. Get this book. Every letter is moose. Actually, I think it goes A, B, C, and then moose. That's all awesome. The way to Z.
So were there any standout would you rathers?
No, not really. I mean, it's pretty tame. They're 9, 10, and 11. 8, 9, and 11? 8, 9, and 11, excuse me. My niece is 8, and my kids are 9 and 11.
We bought my daughter a would you rather book. It's basically a bunch of prompts, and she takes it around with her. They're all bunk, but
all bunk?
Yeah.
Like, that shows our age right there, man.
Wonky. Yeah.
God, we are old.
But
for those of you who don't know, bunk is bad.
Bunk is bad. They're all bad. And but she'll ask, would you rather blah 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 blah, and if she's dissatisfied with my answer, she'll go, okay, well then number 2, what's the second? I mean, so well then it's just the other thing.
But no, it was a good time. We had a really good time. We're always kind of sad to come back. And my middle is just like super addicted to electronics, but he loves camping to the point where like he's out there and he's like, I'm just so glad to be away from electronics. And yeah, I mean, it's really weird. He's like, you know what? I just like sitting around. Actually, one of the things that he wanted to talk about was what's everybody grateful for? Like he said, I want everybody to go around and say what they're grateful and happy for right now. And his was sitting around the campfire with everybody and having fun camping, going hiking, and s'mores. So, but it was just really, I don't know, it was really cool to see him just sort of be, I don't know, it's almost like he grew up a little bit just then in the way he asked and answered the question. Yeah.
The smart aleck in me would have said that's the wrong holiday. That's November.
Yeah.
But that's pretty epic.
Yeah, I mean, for a 9-year-old to just like come out with that, like that's pretty dope. I love that. Naturally, we got home and he went straight to electronics, got in trouble, and I took electronics away this week for the entire week. Like this was bad enough to where I took him away this week. And I do not know. I mean, I don't know what's going on with him because he just like immediately flipped back. He's like, you know what? This is a good thing. This is a good thing for me. He's like, I'm going to discover all the talents that I have. He's been playing with fingerboards lately.
Oh, nice.
He's like, I know how to ollie, so I'm going to go and teach myself new tricks. He's like, is it okay if I watch YouTube? And if not, that's okay. Just think about it. Like he's telling me this, like he's having a cup of coffee in front of me. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. But he's been great since then, since I took electronics away. So we typically try and regulate it, but
I think you targeted the problem.
Oh, yeah, this is obviously the problem, but man, he's doing great. So, I don't know how everybody else does their electronics. We do it. You can have like an hour or two on the day. Weekends are somewhat free game, but you still have to go outside. We just don't regulate it a whole lot. So to see him like excited about it, honestly tells me that he probably needs more regulation on the time that he has. So, we're not big believers in screen time for babies, of course, but sometimes it's just so much easier just to, have them go play video games so I can, clean the living room.
Do anything.
Yeah, exactly. I have a life too. I want to go do my hobbies.
This is your hobby.
Right.
What about you? What about you, Jay? Other Jay? J2? J squared? We'll come up with nicknames later. It's stupid.
Easter's real important to our family. So at about 3:30 in the afternoon on Sunday, my daughter asked me, "Is today Easter?" That's what we did.
No, we didn't do anything special.
I'm so worried about how
trying to drink.
No, we went and saw a movie on Saturday and did some things belated for my birthday. And then, what else did we do? Oh, we painted a room and I was supposed to plant some jalapenos, but I didn't get to do that till yesterday.
That sounds like an extraordinarily busy Sunday.
Yeah.
That is a lot. Impromptu video review or movie review, because I know what you went and saw.
Yeah.
And it was the new animated movie, which we can't really say because
the
gaming company that owns the rights to it. Well,
the one with the two Italian brothers?
Yeah, those guys
The
that
plumbers, right?
Yeah, those guys. Yeah, they do something with like sinks or something.
I loved it. I loved it so much. It was better than it should have been. It was cool. Everybody should go see it.
Okay, 2 thumbs up from the guy with hair. So definitely go see that. I haven't seen it yet. It's kind of tough because our kids, they couldn't even make it through a hockey game, so I'm kind of weary on a movie theater for now. But
you should be. Don't.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. I mean,
Maybe a matinee during the week or something like that.
A colorful movie versus a hockey game.
But it doesn't involve school buses, dump trucks, or tow trucks, so my kids aren't going to care.
Yep.
That's all they care about right now.
Yep.
That's fair.
And baby cars, which are just small versions of big cars.
What's a baby?
That would be. That sounds pretty accurate.
Baby car to the boys, a baby car is anything that goes on a tow truck or a car transport, like one of those. If it can fit on a big truck, it's a baby car.
So a dump truck with a big flatbed is basically like a baby Bjorn for cars?
It's a tow truck. Yeah. Cool. It's the tow truck for baby cars. So
I've never looked at it like that. That's how I'm going to see it from now on.
But again, my kids are, I don't have cool stories like you guys do because my kids are just learning to talk, as John found out when he got here today. They were trying to talk to him and it was 4 or 5 words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they weren't able to get much out.
Lucky you got to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, 2 on 2. It was nice. We actually outnumbered the kids for once. There were 3 dads, because my dad is in town, and then there's John and I, and then it's the 2 little guys, and it's like they didn't know what to do. They're like, oh, wow, 3 dads instead of just the 1, so they didn't know what to do.
What were their first words?
What were their first what?
Words. Sorry.
Oh, man. So their first words were... That I taught them that, though. That was a very proud moment for me.
John's resolved arguments with me that way, though. So
that's one way to do it. Sometimes just get you go away. No, our first. I got to be honest with you. I really don't remember. I was working a lot at my old job. Like we're talking 18 hours a day sometimes. And I'm pretty sure it was mom or mommy. Well, no, actually I do remember. So the youngest by a minute, his first word was dada. And then the oldest was mommy.
Nice.
And
cool.
then after that, it was no more dad. Like dada, they forgot about. And it was just mommy for a long time.
I was about to say that makes it easy to pick favorites. But
for now, it's actually been interesting. I don't know if you've experienced this, but our kids flip-flop who their favorite is.
Oh, no, I mean your favorite.
Oh, I have both of them. But they both are my favorite. I can't. Yeah. Like that's the hardest. That's like cut off your toe or your other toe. Like you can't do it. Well, I mean you could. You got 10 of them. But anyway, no. It's the kids flip flop who their favorite is. Like, do they want dad or do they want mommy? So right now, the oldest is with mommy, the youngest is with me. But in a couple of months, they're gonna flip flop. Yeah. This is I think the 3rd time since we brought them home. But have your kids done that? They always have a favorite.
Oh gosh.
we're going to get to you in a minute. So you start thinking now, Justin.
So I would say for sure, I know at one point I was my oldest favorite. Today I couldn't tell you who it is. The middle child, my wife's. He was my wife's. That's not what I'm trying to say. He favored my wife more than me. And then as they grow up, it does. I mean, it flip flops depending on what they want out of each parent and or at the time. It's completely situational. Right now, the daughter, she's an infant. Mommy's got what I don't have to feed her. So she absolutely favors her. Now, I've been a stay-at-home dad for about 3 months now. And so there was a period where she did want to be with me more. And she came very close to saying dada for her first words.
Nice.
And my wife was like, you better not. Because my two boys, their first words with dada, she's like, you better not take this from me again. But she did say mama first. So she was very happy about that.
You almost had it.
Yeah, I wanted her to have that.
That's good.
And Justin, how about you? Did your daughter flip flop, or did she always favor one? Or
I mess with her a lot. Yeah, well, we play a lot, and there's like one question that I've always thought would be funny. It was like, which one do you love more? And I'm so scared to get the answer to that.
Oh yeah.
So it's not you.
Yeah, we'll be. There's like a lull, and you're like, I'm gonna mess with my kids, and I'll go, hey, never mind. That's what comes to mind.
Are you afraid it's going to be your wife, or are you afraid it's going to be something off wall? Like, I like my bed more.
If I ask the question, it will definitely be her. It'll be my wife. But she loves us both the same is the right answer. But she flip flops.
Oh man!
For you, it's the right answer. For your daughter,
yeah. My oldest will do that. He'll be like, hey, who's your favorite? And we're like, we love both. This is before.
Wait. Your oldest is asking which one of the kids is your favorite?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're obviously like, oh, well, we love you both unconditionally. The same amount.
Forgetting about the third.
Yeah. Well, this was before she was born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was before she was born. And so he's so like me in his humor because he's like, it's me, isn't it? Just here, do you want to go to another room and just tell me? He's like, I won't say anything to anybody. So he's actually the one who keeps bringing that up.
Yeah, I do tell my daughter all the time, depending on what's happening. She's an only child, so I'll tell her you're my favorite kid, or you're my least favorite kid, or you're the smartest kid I have, or you're the dumbest kid I have, or I haven't gotten that rude yet, but
wow.
I let her know that she's all the things all at once. She has no choice.
The number of times I say wow to your statements is just staggering.
We'll do a counter on that too. That's the next challenge. When somebody gets the kids right, we'll do how many times do we say wow to Justin? Wow.
I tell them you're my favorite first name. You're my favorite first name. And that's boom, done.
That's what my parents used to do, but we saw right through that shit. Like we all knew it was Charlie fucking.
Oh no. So we're actually, believe it or not, big shock. We're a little over 20 minutes in. We actually did have a topic today.
Yeah,
haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, that's all right. It's fine.
But you know what? Let's go ahead and switch gears because that's what we do. Let's get back on topic because we are never straying from our topic. We are always on point and reading word for word what we practiced and wrote down.
I think John was leading into it a minute ago anyway. He's got hobbies.
He does. Yeah, he does. Do you?
Do I have hobbies?
Yeah.
Oh God. So
let's get into it. Let's first ask the question, right? And then we'll.
Do I have hobbies? Okay, so
well, the question first, and then.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the question was, it was your idea. So what was the question?
Yeah. So my question was, is there anything that you miss from before you became a parent, right?
And then not to be conceited, we'll let you go first.
Well, so
almost like you planned it.
Yeah, well, I didn't, but there, as everything with me, there's backstory and context. You asked if I have hobbies. I have a ton of hobbies. And I hop from one to one. My wife actually calls me a serial hobbyist.
He's a serial hobbyist.
Because I will just get hyper focused on something, spend a ton of money on it, do whatever that hobby was for like a month, and then just drop it. So my hobbies right now are journaling. I would say that that one's been consistent for a couple years now. But with that comes different types of pens and paper and inks and all of that all into one. So I've got a fountain pen collection.
Nice.
I've got ink collection. I've got tons of journals to last me at least the next 5 years. So that's my
It's its own hobby is going to buy this stuff.
Yes. Well, so there, and admittedly, there's a monthly subscription box that I was doing for a while where they send you this stuff, and it was just so exciting to open up all these pens and journals and books and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, journaling is probably my most consistent. I collect vintage lighters. I like to restore those, and I skateboard. I think those are the three main ones that I have right now.
Did you have to offload any when your first kid was born?
Yeah, obviously, because when my kids are first born.
That's a good question, because there's a lot of parents who do have to offload a lot.
So yeah, and I was thinking about this since last week, but I didn't really do much before my kids were born. Like I was the picturesque bachelor. I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. I ate tuna sandwiches every day. So I could say, well, I was making pennies comparatively. So I could save my money for the weekend so I could go to karaoke and drink beer every Friday and Saturday, sometimes Wednesdays.
The dream.
That's all I did. I didn't do anything else. So I was sleeping until like 12, 1 o'clock, waking up, playing video games, eat, and then go out. Sometimes I would play disc golf. I was thinking about it. I think that was the only thing that I did outside of everything else was disc golf.
Disc golf has grown. Like there's actual courses now for disc golf. Like there's little wire baskets. When I did it, it was, can you hit that tree over there? And that was it. Now
they've got courses.
And it's pretty intense.
I live in a town of like 60,000, and they have a disc golf course.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I didn't know it was a thing until I moved here.
Oh, really?
Well, I knew disc golf was a thing. I didn't know there were actual courses for it until I moved here. But
yep.
I think you get lost in the woods somewhere in Texas, and
that's probably why they
eventually come upon one of those weird chain Hellraiser things.
It's just a bunch of lost dads looking.
They're looking for either a kid or a disc.
Yeah, that's all they're doing. And they're like, let's just put a pole here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't. I would say that's the most I had to offload, but I didn't really do much. I seem to have more hobbies after I became a dad, not necessarily because or in spite of. It's just I just simply have more hobbies now, and it's not because I'm looking for stuff to do. It's just that I just find that I hyper focus on things to take up my time. I was sleeping until 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't seen south of 9 o'clock in the past 12 years, so I have.
You stay up to 9?
It can happen.
So tell me that secret.
Well, no, the latest I get up is 9, and so I have hours to do something all the time now.
Me too. I totally don't go to bed before 9. I was just kidding.
Well, that's another struggle, because I wake up at 6, make breakfast, get the boys ready, take them to school, come back, make breakfast for my wife, my daughter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, go throughout the day. And then, at 5 o'clock, I'm quote unquote off the clock from being a dad. But I want to spend time with my wife. And so I end up staying up until 10, 11, 12, playing, video games or watching something with her. We play video games together. I don't just ignore my wife.
I was about to say, I want to spend time with my wife, so I play video games.
No, we play video games together. And so that's what we do. But then I only get 6 hours of sleep, and I'm just a zombie. I don't think that I've had a truly awake moment in years.
I always like stuff like this because there's somebody listening that's going on 6 hours.
Oh yeah, my wife is going to listen to this 6 hours. Really?
Yeah.
I'm up every hour with our daughter.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
What's 6 hours? I wish I could. I don't sleep, so 2 a.m. I wake up every day. It doesn't matter.
Oh my goodness.
I
You get when you're on consistently after that?
up. I could go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm up at 2, maybe 2:30.
You really should see a doctor for that.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
No,
you should see somebody for that.
Been there, done that. We know the reasons. It's just not for a podcast to talk. But yeah, 6 hours of sleep would be nice. So 9 o'clock, I'm laying down and starting to do the shutdown, and that way I can get at least till 2, maybe 3. If I'm tired enough and I take some sleep stuff, then I'll sleep till 5. But
no, that's a lot though. That's a lot to take on.
Yeah.
And admittedly, my wife does have it worse because she does. She is breastfeeding, so she is up with our daughter
3 hours.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. And then she has to be up. I don't have to go to any meetings. she's the one who has to be on Zoom with all the meetings and, appear 100% awake.
I just realized that when my wife finally listens to this, she's going to go, why don't you talk me up like John?
That's a good question.
Why don't you love me like John loves his wife?
This is a perfect plug for a future episode.
It goes without saying.
The wives are going to take over in the future, and we're going to let them do a couple shows, and we'll see what happens. So
that's a big bold promise.
All you're doing is you're just giving your wife fuel for that episode. That's all you're doing. You could talk her up.
Yeah, John's making me look bad. That's
it's fine.
Am I making you look bad, or are you making yourself look bad?
Sure. I mean, it's always easier to point the blame to somebody else.
Yeah.
So anyway, what did you miss?
So, all right, I don't have, so my kids are still really young. And I was actually thinking about this when we kind of brought it up last week about, hey, let's do this, next week. So I've been thinking about it. And the only things I can think of that are different and that I've noticed are different are driving and music.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That's the only thing. And like what I mean by that is, before the kids, I would just drive, like, let's go, let's get there. Speed suggestion signs are all over the place, but you still get there faster.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're just like, that's the speed limit. I can't go that fast. I got kids in the car.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? You can't. So driving has changed. And then I've also noticed like the music is different because I'll be sitting at work and all of a sudden Wheels on the Bus is in my head. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, that song just hits hard. Like, Wheels on the Bus. Let's do it. It's on the bus. Yeah. Or like the different versions of Baby Shark. Like, have you listened to the metal version of that?
Yes. I have.
Man. But I mean, just, stuff like that. And it's like, man, I miss music. And then not listening to it as loud. The driving is different. Even when the kids aren't in the car, I've caught myself like, oh, here's the speed limit. Okay, I'll do that. Because in my mind, I'm so used to driving with the kids that I don't go, it's not like, oh, this is the ETA. I'm going to beat that by 5 minutes now. I'll get there safely because I got things to do tomorrow with the kids now.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I think
that's
some of this, you guys
only thing that has changed. Like games, of course I don't sleep. So if I'm going to play video games, it's usually 3 or 4 in the morning until 6 a.m. when I start getting the house ready for my wife to get up and
oh my gosh.
deal with the kids. So, I get a good 2-3 hours there to myself. But after that, I don't know. Nothing really has changed because the kids are too young. I do know things have changed a lot because there's 2 of them, and they're just constant. So we'll do this lack of sleep and breastfeeding from the guy's perspective. Let's do that in a future episode because
I don't have anything.
I'm sure you're a dad and you didn't have to breastfeed, so you definitely have something to add. But I'm just kind of curious how it went because I know if you have one, you can rotate who's awake, but when there's 2, you don't get that. It's every 3 hours you're awake. But again, future episodes, let's not get into it. That's all I could come up with, and I had a whole week to think about it. So that should tell you, like, I don't know if that means I was boring before the kids and I'm still boring, or it's just.
That's what I was gonna say a second ago.
No, I think that's exactly what it means.
We're confused.
Yeah.
We're all in third. Were you in your 30s or late 20s when you're
29?
29. Okay, you're in your 30s.
No, I was born.
I think you are confusing having kids with aging. Like, so you're talking about the volume of the radio.
Yeah.
All right. So first of all,
That's a good point. That is a really good point, actually.
I'm only 21, sir. Squared. Anyway. No, yeah, it's possible. Like, when I was of age, I would drink a lot, but that led to some dark times, which, I don't miss that because of the back end of it.
See, that's what I was going to say. I'm kind of like him in that when my daughter was born, before that, I was going out and partying every weekend. Me and my wife would go out and we'd go do all kinds of
you and I partied every weekend.
Yeah, me and John were going out for a long time. I'd go meet him at the karaoke bar and we'd make fools of ourselves and wake up feeling like crap the next morning.
I thought you said partying.
No, that's what partying is. What is
partying? Is karaoke.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm old. I can't even grow hair. You think I know what a party?
Next time you'll join us and you'll understand.
Dude, I'm down.
But
just let me check with the kids.
So I've told this a million times. I'm into comics and nerdy shit. We all are, I think.
Yeah, I think we all are.
But when I was before teenager things to worry about, I was all into comics and nerdy stuff, and I really loved it. But at some point, you go, this makes me look bad. As soon as my wife got pregnant, I switched gears from drinking and partying to okay, I guess I'm going to start collecting Hot Wheels and comic books, and action figures, and like it's great. I think I'm finally getting over all this. But I switched gears.
Getting over it? It's a hobby.
What are you doing? What are you doing getting over
put into skateboarding and the guitar.
You can have room for other things. I wouldn't say getting up. You saying getting over it makes it seem like it's a bad thing.
No. Okay, fair enough. I'm ready to sell my X-Men though, and the
skateboarding rocks, right?
Addiction. Yeah, skateboarding's the shit.
That's awesome.
It's bad for every part of my body, but it's fun.
Did you just say you're willing to sell X-Men
comics? I'm ready to sell.
I don't even think there's any words left to speak to you for the rest of the day.
What am I supposed to keep them forever?
I am. Mine are in a
lockbox.
In a lockbox. Yeah.
Have you looked at the value of like the old X-Men comics to now? You need to keep those until you're like 70. I mean, you only got what, 2 or 3 more years to go?
I think yes.
Yeah, that's not a problem. You're fine. Just hold on to them and then sell them.
I'll raise you. I have comics.
Hold on. You meant 3 years to go until
before
I'm
you
70
die.
something. I thought you meant 3 years to go before this is all over.
Well,
Sorry,
I mean,
that's
in
a
your
whole different
70s, never mind. That's bad now. We have older listeners.
Sorry.
I'll actually raise you the nerd bar and say I have comics and unsealed boxes of Magic the Gathering cards. Like, that's even worse because, like, I'm not even playing with it. I played Magic the Gathering.
These are going to be worth something someday.
Dude, but,
what's
like,
crazy is they are.
I don't, I never did anything. Like, they are there, and I'm not kidding. They're in boxes, and they're sealed, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I should do something with them, but it would pain me to get rid of them, and so I can't do it.
You know what's going to happen? We're going to reach some listeners we didn't think about. You're going to start getting offers on your comics. You're going to start getting offers on your unsealed cards.
And he's going to be on.
And I'm going to get people to start sending me Rogaine. You watch. That's what's going to happen.
We're going to start getting sponsored.
Yeah. Dear Kevin, this is for your hair.
Yeah, I'm gonna get those little. People are gonna send me those little magnetoids when we were growing up. There was the bald person, but it was the metal shavings that you could do with a magnet. That's what I'm gonna. They're gonna buy your comics. They're gonna buy your cards, and I'm gonna get these little magnet hair tie things.
I think I just got another idea for a T-shirt.
I do want to go back though. Hold on.
Let's go back. Let's do it.
So talking about like hobbies, I'm sitting here and I've been thinking about it, and I don't think it's necessarily the hobbies. Because like I said, I didn't really have many before, but it's the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I would love to just spend, a couple hours at the skate park or, I just bought some random skateboard decks off of the marketplace. I'd love to just like strip those down and spray paint them and create art and do all this other cool stuff and just throw myself into it for hours. But I can't do that.
Throwing yourself into it hours, I think, is the key point. Like,
right.
You can do things sporadically. I have the same issue at work. Is I front load all the hard stuff. I don't mean to say kids with the hard stuff, but I front load all the important things at the beginning of the day. And then once all that's done, you go, well, it's 9:30, kids in bed. Now I have time to do the thing I wanted to do. There's no time to dive into
right. Absolutely.
Really, immerse yourself.
You could. But then you end up staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning, and then you're dead the next day. So, I would say that's probably the biggest thing is the time to be able to do stuff.
I get up early on Saturday and Sunday morning, or at least like through the week. I'm like Saturday and Sunday morning. That's when I can spend time. My wife's recently started waking up, so I've got no time to do anything. So
you just got to leave the house.
Yeah.
I'm gonna score some brownie points because for me, like again, my kids are still young. Yes, there's stuff I miss, but then because they are young, I'm seeing them do things for the first time, and then the pride that you get filled just watching them figure something out.
Oh God, yeah.
It's like I'd rather see that than spend 4 hours doing something else. Like just that moment of time of them figuring something out, saying the first word, climbing, jumping, hitting their brother in the head, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just it's accomplishment. But just seeing that I don't know. That's why it's a really harder question. And if any of you listeners are having that, and like, what were your stuff that you miss? Like, what is it easy for you to answer? Is it tough? Because I don't know. Like that's the only thing I can come up with because it's my kids are changing so much. First words, like I wouldn't miss that for the world, even though I did. First steps, first time they're crawling, like all this stuff. So ask me again in 2 years and let's.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of this stuff is going to change. change.
Yeah, I have new dad goggles.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of things that make me proud as a dad, like some two weird things. When my daughter was 3, I asked her to do something. I think around 3. I don't know for sure, but I remember she was really little and too little to understand what she was saying. But I asked her to do something, and her response was, "I didn't ask to be born."
at 3?
Yeah. And I was like, I've never been more proud than I am right now.
You and mother ripped me from the void.
Yeah.
And here I am with a
Existence versus non-existent.
Wow.
So no, yeah, that's a weird thing. But I was like, the little punk rocker in me was like, that's badass. And then recently, this is more realistic, but recently she started playing softball, and so she's totally new to all this. A couple of the girls on the team they've got some experience from it from last year. Maybe they played catch with their dad or whatever. I'm not a sporty person, so she's learning all of this brand new. But the coaches don't communicate that well sometimes. So the explanation of what the game is, she got from me playing some Xbox game of baseball. So she gets it from that. But the coaches kept saying, "Where's the play? Where's the play?" And all the girls go, nobody knows. And then finally one day, like that happened for 2 or 3 days. And on the third day, my daughter speaks up. And she finally goes, "I don't know what that means." And I looked at my wife and was like, "Oh, so that's so good." Because all my life I've always worked with people that don't know that that's a better response.
Right.
Pretending you do understand
can't
something.
say I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I think all the adults looked at each other and were like, "Hell yeah, okay, cool." So anyway, the play means. And so I took notes because I didn't know either. But anyway,
no, that's great. I love the story. We encourage our kids to speak up for themselves.
Yeah.
We've always, if they want ice cream after we've eaten at a restaurant, they have to go up to the counter to ask for it by themselves.
With my daughter,
right? And so the fact that she was I don't want to say bold enough, because to her it was probably just natural. To us, it's bold. She spoke up. It's "I don't know what the hell you're talking about."
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
All the other girls on the team, though, all kind of went, "Oh no, is she allowed to do that?" I was like, "Yeah, she is." If you don't know, you don't know.
Coaching is difficult. I have a hard time not coaching from the sidelines, and it's because I'm a better coach than any other coach I've ever met.
I don't know that to be true, but I believe it. I believe it.
No, it is tough though, because you know how to communicate with your child. Like you said, it's the Xbox thing. When I was teaching the kids how to pass the ball to each other instead of passing it stationary, how to pass to somebody who's running.
Yeah.
And so I explained it you play, Fortnite. You know how you're sniping? You don't shoot where they're at, you shoot where they're gonna be. It's the same thing with passing a soccer ball. And it's lights started going off. You can see it just clicking with everybody. And so it's the same thing, but not everybody gets that. You got,
There's way less eliminations on the softball field, though.
Way less.
I would hope so. But yeah, what do you guys think? Well, I'll throw the poll up. We're going to launch all this. By the time you hear this, we'll be live. I'll throw a poll up for the first month. And let's see who gets close. How many times we're going to say our kids' names on accident. And how many times we're going to say wow to Justin.
Boom.
And we'll figure something out. Let's see what happens. If you guys have questions, send them to us. We'll answer them. We'll bring stories up. If you have a good story, definitely want to hear them, especially what do you miss about being a non-parent to a parent? What did you guys do for Easter? Just pretty much anything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's hear it. I'm always interested in stuff like that.
Absolutely.
If we read it, then, we won't say your name. Well, we might.
Unless you want us to.
If we can't even not say our kids' names. We're obviously bad with names, but we appreciate you guys listening to us again. And hopefully we'll see you, not hopefully, but we'll see you guys next time.
Yep.
Reach out. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye. We need a sign off.
We do need a sign off.